Please like, subscribe, and be sure to click that bell button for regular and exciting indie film content and your chance to be the first to engage with the Liftoff Global Network of Film Festivals as we embark on launching the careers of the filmmakers of tomorrow.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. Today we are talking to the fantastic winners of the First Time Filmmaker Sessions and our Sessions August competitions. We've got such a lovely group of people on this call today, so it's going to be a very exciting stream. If you are watching this live and you would like to chat to our filmmakers, ask them any questions, then the chat room is now open and you can do so. So let's find out who is on the call. Mohammed, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Let me know who you are and what your film was.
So, hello everyone. How's it going, everyone? So, my name is Muhammad Hafiz. I'm 20 years old, and I am a filmmaker student from Dinamika University from Indonesia. I also live in Surabaya. From Indonesia too. So I was the director, writer, and editor of my film called No Clue. So I was very excited to share more about my film today. So yeah.
Amazing, thank you. And did you win part of our First Time Filmmakers sessions or the sessions competition?
I'm a first-time season filmmaker.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it over now to Hayley. Hayley, hi. Do you want to introduce yourself and your film?
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Haley Sketches Entertainment is primarily based on shooting spectacular independent films and has its own database of video effects used in the projects. The first official projects of the company is considered to be Project Z, which was created long before the creation and formation of the studio. The company began its existence on the 19th of January 2021. Since that moment, we have released two short films from the Project Z series, as well as in August of the 2023, where a new scientific film called The Space of Consciousness was shown. The second fantastic short film of the series, Project Z, debuted after the first 1 year and a half later and contained a narrative about the main character of the film. This is Leah Thompson. She was a human and accidentally fell into a magic funnel, after which she became invulnerable and strong. In the future, she had to use this power wisely for the benefit of science. There be scientificizing herself and saving humanity, but this remained behind the scenes and is waiting for its implementation in the subsequent film and Project Z future. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. I also want to note that we are currently looking for cooperation with other filmmakers for remote communication and exchange of experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hayley. That was a lot of information, but we'll circle back to you in a bit. But thank you for sharing. Nicholas, can you tell us what your film was and what your role was?
Yeah, so hello, my name is Nicolas Keskelami and I'm from Finland, and I was the director and writer and producer in a movie called Nirvana, and I also did a little bit of acting. Amazing. And it was a psychological thriller, or more like a psychedelic thriller. And yeah, I participated in the First Time Filmmaker Sessions also.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Izzy, tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name's Isabel Bart.
I'm Henry Sullivan.
And we did the film Delight, and we're co-directing of the film. And we're involved in the First Time Filmmaker Sessions as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Felix.
Hello, sorry, but my real name is Angelico Hernandez. It's just the Gmail account that I'm using. I'm the actor for Mang Tonyo. I'm currently a student at Manila Tetara Colleges in the Philippines studying Bachelor of Arts in Communication.
Nice. Wow, thank you. Richard.
Sorry, trying to find the right button there. On mute. Yeah, I'm Richard Hyans. I did the film Wesley Corncrake. I wrote it, directed it, produced it,
Nice.
played the main, the character who's the subject of the film. Yeah, that's it really. It's a comedy, which I think is a bit. I don't think. I think the rest are. I don't think any of the others are comedies, so it's kind of.
Do you know what? We don't get that many comedies, so when we do, they do stand out. So, well done.
Right.
Well done for being here. Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Over to you, Nora.
Hello, I'm Nora from Saudi Arabia, and I'm a 3D animator studying at Pratt University in New York. And I'm the producer and 3D animator of my animated film. Yeah, that's about it.
Nice. Amazing. Thank you. Charlie.
Hello, my name's Charlie. I live near Reading in Berkshire. My short film is called The Wish, which is basically like some weird fantasy sort of drama. And I directed it, wrote it, produced it, and edited it as well. And I think I put it in the first time Filmmaker Showcase.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Ruth.
Hi, I was just trying to find out the mute button is always off. Hi guys, my name is Roop. I'm from Manchester and my film is called The Mona Lisa Smile, which is regarding the journey of South Asian women South Asian women living, working in England. And we have managed to capture 12 stories, 12 incredible stories ranging from a doctor to an activist to a beauty queen. We spoke about things like what makes England home and why what is life as an immigrant South Asian woman. And we had a range of people coming in and talking to us in a very secure environment in our studio. We filmed online. It was a long process of like around 6 to 7 months, and getting everybody together and getting 12 women to agree to share their experience of the good, bad, and ugly was a very emotional journey. And I had a team behind me. I directed the movie and I came up with the concept, but I am the one half of the whole team of the Mad Hatter, which is basically what's coming up in the screen at the moment. And I think I have entered into the first time session, and we did also receive the most viewed in our category, audience choice. And that's basically it.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Jake.
Hello, everybody. I am a cinephile based out of Massachusetts, United States. I am the writer, director, editor, producer of our short film, Withdrawal, that was selected for the New Voice Shorts. I did it alongside my cousin, and it is a thriller/biography that I wrote as a therapeutic session about my father.
Are you friends with someone called Jack by any chance?
I know a whole lot of Jacks.
Jack H, to be precise. He's just put Jake in the chat room. So, there you
go. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure I know. What's up, Jack?
Wonderful. Clyde.
Hello, everyone. I am Clyde Agnas from the Philippines, and I am currently a third-year communication student, and I'm an aspiring director or filmmaker someday. And I directed, written, and did some camera works on our film Si Mang Tonyo.
Nice, thank you. Grappel?
Hello, everyone. My name is Grepo. I'm a Filipino independent and hobbyist filmmaker now based in the UK. Our film is called Si Mang Tonyo. I'm from the same group with Clyde and Felix. I am the creative consultant and editor. It's a political thriller that touches on the life of Mang Tonyo himself, who is a school custodian, a cleaner, who has been struggling with grief for a very long time. It's such a tragic story. This is a collaborative project with my former students in the Philippines, but since I moved here, we're miles away. But yeah, we're happy and we feel privileged to be here on this virtual roundtable today.
At least now with the power of the internet and the way that people
Yeah,
use everything, it does make the world a
exactly.
lot smaller. But yeah,
Thank you. That's all.
Harriet.
Hi, I am Harriet Achaluse, and I am also a communication student here in the Philippines. And I am the production designer and also one of the supporting actress in Mang Tonyo's film.
Amazing. When it comes to the other questions, I'm going to group you together. Otherwise, we'll be running out of time because there's so much to talk about. But thank you all for being here. It means a lot to us. Cool. And Dimitrios.
I'm Dimitrios from Athens, Greece. I have done film studies in one of most historical film schools here in Athens. And my film Face Down is based in one of the best short stories of modern Greek literature of Konstantin Theotokis, the Greek writer. For me, this short story is a bridge that connects modern Greek literature with ancient Greek tragedy, I could say. Konstantin Theotokis, along with Alexander Papadiamandis, was one of the most famous pioneers of 19th century here in Greece in literature. Nice. Someone like local Tolstoy, I could say. So we were shooting a period drama piece, and we had to find a location that would match the central house of the story, which was the main setting. We had very limited, restricted budget, and we had to keep things in a minimal aesthetic way of filming, I would say.
Absolutely. Well, we'll find out a little bit more about that when we loop back around to hear some of the problems that you had, or hurdles you had to overcome, I should say, in a bit. But thank you for sharing. Sudarshan?
Hey, hi. Hey, everyone. My name is Sudarshan. I'm from India, a place called Bangalore in the south of India. I'm the writer, director, producer of the movie called Point of You. The reason why it's called Point of View is because the movie is shot in a point of view format, and it also combines a screen life narrative. So I've tried to combine both these unique styles of storytelling. The movie follows a teenager who's obsessed with a woman who reminds him of his deceased mother. So it's a little bit of a psychodrama kind of a film. So yeah. I'm really glad to be in this forum here. Thank you very much.
No, nice. Thank you. Some of you started to tell us a little bit more about your projects and some of the hurdles that you had to overcome. So I'd like to start with that. So I'm going to loop back around to Mohammed. If you could just tell us a little bit about the production and if there was a specific thing that you learned on this venture of making the short film.
Before I start, can you skip me first because I have some word I cannot say.
Sure. I'll throw it over to Nicholas.
Yeah.
Nicholas, can you tell us a little bit about your production and if you had any hurdles that you had to overcome?
Yeah, well, we had a no budget movie, so nobody got paid, and yes, and I basically made the movie just with my friends, and the biggest struggle was networking. Where could I find these people who I could make the movie with. And when I realized that I had these friends who could play the parts, it sort of cracked the code. And looking back, maybe the biggest issue that I learned was the audio. That the audio was definitely, if I could go back in time, I would invest more money on it, because that's something that I had to really edit and hone in the post-production, and made it a lot more difficult. So the audio definitely is something to keep an eye or an ear on. So
I'm sure there's other people on this call that are probably nodding their heads being like, audio, we need to have perfect audio when it comes to filmmaking. It's interesting from like a festival perspective how for live screenings especially, if the audio is not right, it doesn't make it through to the next round of judging. It's like an immediate no. So if you walk away with anything from today, just make sure on your next film you have a sound guy who can help with the audio just to relieve that stress, especially if you want to do the festival circuit. But yeah, thank you.
yes,
Nicholas.
definitely.
Izzy and Henry, what hurdles did you have to overcome in your project?
The same. Sorry.
Audio.
The same with no budget, and maybe getting the police called on us for trespassing on location.
Guerrilla style, then, I guess you were going.
Because of not having a budget, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Also, we were living in different countries
Okay.
at the time, and so it actually went a couple of months after getting all the footage to get together and edit it all. And there were times where we were kind of like, where the feeling was kind of going, and because we both had different things going on back in our own countries at the time, and we managed to like get together and focus on it again, and it worked out in the end. But there was a kind of touch and go moment, and we were kind of like,
Well,
maybe it won't happen.
Getting a project completed is no small feat. It's
Yeah.
a huge undertaking, and so many people think filmmaking is so much fun and this enjoyable experience, which it is. But the stress and actually being able to complete a film is just another challenge. So really well done for getting over those problems that you had. And being arrested or escorted off by the police is quite a fun story to have for the future. Cool. Felix and team, as I said Felix, but anyone from the team, Harriet, Clyde or Grapel, tell us about some hurdles that you had to overcome.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, one small stumbling block that we had to overcome while making this film was our individual differences as storytellers and as creatives. You know, as artists, we have our own creative process and perspectives. It's always hard in the beginning, but you have to start somewhere, right? And fortunately, we were able to use that as our weapon, the variety and diversity of ideas put together, guided by a single goal that is to tell such a significant story. But the very challenge for us was our collective socio-political ideologies. But because, like I said, it's a political thriller. The story of Simang Tonyo is heavily political. For the past couple of years in the Philippines, the political polarization has been so evident. And it was quite a challenge for us to create something that's so important to us, something that's really, really close to our hearts, something that we've all been longing for, the betterment of our country, our beloved Philippines. And we're just so glad we're able to push through and keep the fire in our hearts burning. And that's how we gave birth to this masterpiece.
Nice, thank you. Well said. Yeah, does anyone else from the team want to add anything?
Hi, I would like to add something. So the film started as a school project. So we had other things on our plate, and we really had to work around the time that we had, the limited time. Not to mention the budget, and also the person involved in the film. We are a 4-man production, so literally the 3 actors that was seen in the film was the people behind the camera as well. So it was really hard. So as a filmmaker and a student at the same time, we had to be resourceful with what we have, and we have to make it work to tell the story that will influence and inspire people as well. Knowing that is political, as what Sir Grapple said.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Thank you. Great. I'm going to throw it over to Richard. Richard, can you tell us some stories from your production, please?
Yeah, well, actually very similar to Nicholas. That everybody in the film, or nobody in the film had acted before. It was friends of mine, and audio was a big problem because it started out as it was going to be just a short film, 20 minutes long, a bit of fun, and it was so it's just a couple of lapel mics, lavalier mics, clip-ons, and the cheapest Zoom audio recorder that you could get. I now have this fancy thing here, but didn't have that at the time. And so I spent a couple of months after filming just fixing the audio, and it was mostly on my voice. Everybody else seemed to be fine, but because I think I was operating the audio recorder as well, so when there was other people acting, I could kind of check the levels. But when it was me talking, I couldn't. There was nobody to check the levels. So anyway, yeah, that was a big problem. But yeah, the lack of actual actors wasn't a problem. It was that was a good thing, because it was kind of I'd spent a couple of months just they don't know this, but just observing friends, little micro expressions to see and thinking, the whole time, what part can I write for them, Yeah. So then when I gave them the script, I said, you don't have to act, just do it, And I couldn't say, well, I know you can do it because I've seen, but anyway, yeah, it was, so it worked out well. And then a lot of people just did end up bringing more to the character and adding their own bits, making it funnier, which is great. I don't know if I'd have got that with actual trained actors.
But as long as the experience was a lot of fun and the lessons are learned from the mistakes, when it comes into the next one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. There were no real problems. There were a couple of tricky scenes. We did a few scenes in noisy pubs, which is very difficult to. Yeah, and you get the occasional drunk person jumping in front of the camera going, "Hi," But apart from that, yeah.
Amazing, thank you, Nora. Nora, tell us your stories.
So when I first made the film, I was in my first year, so I didn't know anything, not even the basics. So I went to class, like I had to learn. So my film is 3D animated, so I had to learn 3D animation, modeling, editing, and everything from the basics. So in addition to that, I found myself falling into the trap of comparing myself to others, which is like very hard, especially artists. And I'm sure everyone has felt the same way, So yeah, I think that was the main hurdle I've had to overcome in my journey.
Yeah, comparing, like you said, for artists, it's the easiest thing to do. You look at someone's career and you're like, why am I not there as well? And
Yeah, your worst critic, honestly.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Charlie.
Hello. I would agree with a couple of the others and what they've said about audio. It's one of those things where at the time you think, oh, it's all going well and smoothly, and then you sort of listen back to it in the edit and there's like chunks missing and things like that for some weird reason. So yeah, definitely audio. I would say logistics, trying to get everyone together, trying to make sure everyone's free for a certain date, that sort of thing. Because I was using about 15 to 20 extras, who are my work colleagues, actually, funnily enough. So yeah, that was quite challenging to get everyone available on that one sort of afternoon, evening. So yeah, I think there are sort of the main hurdles for me.
And did you have help with that, or did you have to do that all yourself?
I did it in terms of the filming or the organisation.
The organisation of.
Yeah, I did it myself. Yeah.
Well
so
done.
yeah,
It is really
quite
difficult.
Thank you.
So yeah, congratulations, Jake.
Hello. So I guess our biggest struggles came from the beginning, I feel like, because we started as just writers, and it came to a point where we had all these really big ideas that were, feature length. And I guess it came down to condensing an idea to something that was feasible for us to be able to work on. So after we were able to condense the idea, the next hurdle was obtaining the equipment, or getting the budget to obtain the equipment, working extra hours so that we could obtain it. We had a small crew, and then learning how to use it, which that wasn't too difficult. I mean, there's a million intricacies to every part, but as you all know, this is a creative process and there's always room to learn. And so we're just starting out here. So, I mean, feel like we started in a good spot. And then when we got to production, the one thing I would note was that it definitely was easier to film the scenes that did not include dialogue, whereas the ones that did include dialogue, they took, several more takes and more thought out effort to go into it. But all in all, I mean, it was a learning process for us. So we'll take whatever we got out of it and just move forward.
Yeah, amazing. And that's exactly the point of filmmaking. You're not just one film, you're going to be better each time, or hopefully your careers will blow up, which will be amazing. But yeah. Cool. Harriet.
Hi. As a production designer, I think one of our struggles is also the weather. Because we only have, again, 2 seasons here in the Philippines, and supposedly we should start it by 8 in the morning, the shooting, but apparently we started already at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But luckily, we're able to finish the shooting in just 1 day. So I am very proud of what we have done. That's all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Dimitrios. So you had your period drama. So
We were shooting, as I said before, period drama. And as the budget was limited, there wasn't a costume designer in the movie. And I had to search for the right clothes for my actors, and especially for the two main characters of a scene, Abel and Cain, who was the biblical reference of the film. And I wanted this scene to be imposing and operatic.
Yeah.
The day of shooting, the bizarre thing was that the weather in the beginning wasn't very helpful in the shooting process, but afterwards it turned out that the weather became a close personal friend of us, since the falling snow created the dreamy atmosphere that I wanted for this scene.
A happy accident then, which is perfect.
I want to say that a limited budget makes you more imaginary.
Yeah, it definitely makes you more creative. It puts you in a situation where you just have to solve the problems.
Absolutely. Director is like a sculptor. You sculpt images with a camera from your mind to the paper, and from the paper to the screen. And sometimes limited budget helps.
Yeah, nice.
I think. I am director, producer, and writer of this film. and generally I want to make cinema
Thank you, Demetrius.
of all genres and kinds.
Great, fantastic. Thank you. Sudarshan?
Yes, hi. Well, I mean, it was just a journey of challenges. The way this movie started was I was supposed to go on floors with a big production. So this was a commercial production. What happened was the producer backed out at the last moment, and I was so frustrated. And everybody were like, "You can never make a movie without money." So that was the root of the idea, right? I had this. So my brother is a biker, and he always had this GoPro on whenever he went for rides. And I figured out, I mean, come on, okay, if I do not have money to invest in a big camera, getting together a lot of people, I mean, I have this small little camera. Why not I just make use of this and get on floors with a film? And at the same time, I was watching a lot of these screen live films, like stuff happening on the screen. And because I knew editing, even though I knew it would take a lot of time, that was something that I could do without money. And, watching quite a few films, I figured out that there has never been a movie that combined both these styles of narratives. And point of view was typically used only for these action films and some kind of stylized shots, but I tried to use that to narrate a drama. So in a way, I kind of so the first thing that I had to do was buy a mouth rig. So I had my brother play the protagonist, and he had to, bite hold of that thing because that would give a clear illusion of the protagonist's eyesight. So technically that kind of worked, but then it was very difficult for the actor to, carry through the scenes. And all through the filming process, I kind of figured out I had written a 120-page script, so it was like a proper feature film. But then I the money to pay the actors, so I just had to get a bunch of friends, promise them a few burgers and pizzas and get them on board, but none of them were actors, right? So the minute I gave them the script, they all just freaked out. So the first thing that I had to do was take my beautifully written script and just put it inside the dustbin. I just told them, I gave them the situations, I told them to completely improvise, and it did work in my favor most of the time. But then there were a few ideas. I had to do a lot of compromises, and I had to eventually get on my laptop during the stage of editing and then stitch a story, which was not in my idea. So I had to kind of fit in what they did and try to tailor around, try to build a completely new storyline. So what was
At least you're an editor, so you can have that vision to change things very quickly.
Yeah. So in a way, it kind of worked in my favor. But then, so what was on paper was completely different from what ended up being this film. And while filming, I did not have a monitor. So these GoPros and these Instas, they have these really small screens. When I imported the video onto my laptop, and when I saw, I was like, damn, I completely messed up. So I had to reshoot 2 to 3 schedules, go into a school, do a lot of guerrilla style filmmaking, like almost, shoot between the arms of cops and stuff. So it was pretty crazy to even, get this on floors. And because I was doing all of it all by myself, it took a really lot of time. So yeah, I mean, without any help, when you're wearing like almost all the hats, it's a crazy ride. I mean, you do need help because this is a collaborative medium, but if you're doing everything on your own, it just took a lot of time. And I'm very embarrassed that it took about a year. If I had some help, maybe like 2 to 3 months, it would be on floors. Yeah.
Thank you. That sounds like it was a very hectic shoot, but best way to go. I'm going to throw it over to Rue.
Hi. So starting from the point that I didn't know anything about filmmaking. So I'm a lawyer, and my passion for making films and watching them has brought me to this stage where I'm sitting as a first-time director. So that's the first journey, that I didn't know anything about filmmaking. What is sound? What is light? What is angle? But thankfully, I landed up with my DOP Taran, who had immense experience with camera, sound, action, everything. Like, he did everything And we had the next challenge was not having a budget at all. So the greatest advice that I got last year, just before I conceptualized my movie, was like, if you don't ask, you don't get. So we begged, borrowed, and hustled for this movie. We literally tried everything. We phoned up like people, makeup artists, food people, COVID, Marshall. We got everybody to make sure that we create an environment and a studio like filming where we can film professional grade, professionally. We can do that. The next challenge was that we were dealing with very sensitive issues, issues like bullying, racism, putting women in box, especially South Asian women. And we were dealing with a lot of psychological trauma, and they didn't want to play victims, or they didn't want to be martyrs. They wanted to be as examples to the society that how they have overcome the hurdles that they have faced in their life as an immigrant South Asian women. So that was something that, because initially when we started putting out the word that we are looking for a real woman who can share the story, the response was absolutely overwhelming. Like, we got so many people and we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, there are so many people. How do we select that her story is important or her story is important? Where do we go from here? But soon we realized that people still didn't have the courage to come up to a mic and in front of a camera, and they still have the mentality of like, what would the society say, or what would my parents say if they found out that this is the reason that I left school, or this is the reason of my me being unwell mentally. So this was the thing that we are about to shoot like tomorrow, and I get a call from this wonderful woman, a wonderful girl. She is barely out of her teens, and she's going off to university, and said like, I can't do it. I don't have the courage. And to tell her that, oh, it's okay. It's not your time to say this, your story, but it will come. I think that was really difficult because we had this constant shuffling of people coming in, going out. And the last bit is we became a bit adventurous at the end of the schedule, and we wanted to film the introductions outdoor. And we didn't realize the outdoor location would be so difficult, because we chose we are from the North, Manchester, so we are known for our football teams and everything, and we have beautiful the BBCs are here as well, so the whole Salford area is kind of TV and BBC. We have nice buildings, and we didn't realize that we were shooting on the day where Manchester United and City was playing, and none of the cafes would let us shoot there.
Of course. But yeah.
They basically said, no, we are not having you. I was like, why? We just spoke to you. I was like, yeah, but they didn't realize that we will land up like this week, and we didn't, like, something happened, messed up in the email, and we didn't confirm that we were going, and we thought like, what was happening? Like, why there is so many people? And suddenly we see that this whole range of people walking, and the shot is completely ruined, and it was raining. We had to wait out the rain, the people, and obviously like the fans are obviously very emotional. So yeah, there was a lot of challenges, but we did smile. We learned a lot, and we learned a lot in this process. And I think that is what I take away from this situation, the whole journey basically.
Thank you. That was great. Mohammed, do you have your answer?
Yeah, I have. So maybe when we shoot on set, I think, yeah. So when I film this project on set, it's like we have some one lens for shooting, because we don't have some budgeting for rent. So maybe you something else why you do not rent. Maybe the reason was because of the time we were in the budgeting process for a project that had been planned before we were in the campus exhibition project. So was implemented. We already had previous project with the same crew, and we wanted ensure that the budget for this new project did not impact the funding allocated for the previous project. So ultimately, so yeah.
Nice. Okay, thank you. Haley, are you here? Because we'd like to hear a little bit more from yours, and then I've got my final question before we round up the call today. Haley, are you here? Okay, there's been quite a lot of chat going on in the chat room at the moment, and Jax asked a question about why did you want to become filmmakers, essentially, or what inspired you to become filmmakers, and what movies, directors are the largest impact on you growing up. So I know I asked that awful question at the beginning for you guys to think about what your favourite film were. But maybe I should tailor the question a little bit to ask if you can just share the film titles of maybe a film that inspired you to get into the industry. If you don't know a film that inspired you to get into the industry, just let us know your favourite film. So, who wants to kick us off? Does anyone have an answer on the tip of their tongue? All right, Izzy and Henry, let me know what your favourite film was or what the inspiration was to get into the industry, which film that was.
One of my favourite films is Run Lola Run by Tom Tykwer. Yeah.
Nice.
Good one.
Nice.
We shot our film in Berlin and also that film set in Berlin, so that was also kind of tightly
Can you get a bit closer to the
inspirational.
microphone?
Sorry. We shot our film in Berlin and also that film was set in Berlin, so
yeah.
It was really inspirational.
You need
Have
to
you-
check out a film called Victoria.
Or Blind Chance by Krzysztof Kieslowski.
Blind Chance?
Blind Chance.
Run
Cool.
Lola Run's kind of like a
Okay,
rendition
okay.
of that, a remake.
Well, Jake,
Nice.
absolute
Okay, I'll check it out.
cinephile on the call, so nice.
Okay.
Cool, thank you. Who's next? Who wants to? Jake, what's your favorite film, or the inspirational film behind?
Okay,
Victoria?
yeah, you can hit me. A childhood film. I was literally named after Jake LaMotta from Raging Bull.
Okay.
However, recently, what strengthened my love for cinema was just indulging in foreign films. Particularly, I guess one that stands out to me is German auteur Wim Wenders' Paris, Texas, which ironically, a German man made one of the best American films of all time. It's the only film that makes me cry every single time I watch it. So
Amazing.
check it out if you haven't seen it.
Thank you. Who should I go to next? Nora.
So my favorite film is Coraline, the stop motion animation by Leica Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, what got me into horror and dark fantasy.
Yeah, it's an amazing animation, Caroline. So yeah, amazing. Cool, Charlie.
Hello. I would say my favourite film is Shawshank Redemption, of course, classic. I would say my inspiration for getting into film was when I worked on the film Bohemian Rhapsody as a Roger Taylor drum double. That was a bit of an experience, to say the least.
Insane.
So I'm very privileged to work on that film. So yeah, probably that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Cool. Clyde.
My favorite film would be, I think, Happy Old Year. It's a Thai film, and I'm really into films that are well written, and I love how they incorporated the production design into the story and how it affected the character. So it's a big inspiration also in our film, Si Mang Tonyo, and we focused more on the visual storytelling more than the dialogues. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Less dialogues and more visual storytelling.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Grupel, your favorite film?
I have a lot, but off the top of my head, that's Memento.
Memento.
By Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm an avid Nolan fan, and the rest of his films actually, because we of course we consider him an auteur, right? I think that's what inspired me also to create my very first film, Elena, that received an international recognition as well. That's a psychological thriller. But most of my films revolve on themes like circle of life, friendship, family, and love. I just inject, the concept of thriller. I'm afraid that this would be unpopular opinion, but I'll say it anyway. I've never been a professional filmmaker. It's never been my bread and butter. It's because I don't want to commercialize my ultimate hobby. Because being a cineast makes me feel like I'm in a different world, a utopia at that, and I kind of want to protect it. But of course, if an opportunity that comes along that will allow me to work with creative minds, why not?
Amazing. Nice. Thank you. Sudarshan?
Okay, so one was Inception, and the other was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Love that film. Amazing.
Yeah.
Good choices. Dimitrios?
Yes, I wanted to be a director from my childhood, and I have tons of beloved films of mine, but especially I would say Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. I like his the way he expresses his philosophy through images.
Very nice.
It's a totally spiritual way of filmmaking, which is more close to poetry, I would say. Filmmaking generally, I think, is a spiritual process. You have to surpass, to push yourself to your limits in order to achieve your goal, which is the final cut of the movie.
Amazing. Thank you. Harriet, your favorite film?
Hi. So, A Man Called Otto is one of my favorites now because Filipinos are very emotional and also family oriented. So that's why I also created a story about the love of our grandparents. So that's it.
Nice. Thank you. Rue?
I've always drawn to simplistic filmmaking and the complexity of characters. So, growing up back in India, it has to be the Satyajit Ray's trilogy of Opu Shangchat, which is basically very simple filmmaking, but very complexity of a young boy growing up in rural Bengal and showing his life and his love for his family and a boyhood, basically a journey of a boyhood. It has to be Satyajit Ray's Opu Shangchar. And currently, if I want to be, it's very hard to pick someone. I love Tim Burton. I always look forward to any Tim Burton movie, anything, whatever he throws at us. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Felix? Sorry. Felix.
Hello. I really can't think of my favorite movie, but the first thing that comes to mind is Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood. It's been like my inspiration when it comes to movies because, I was really exposed to those kinds of movies, James Bond and some of classic action movies. But I loved Dirty Harry the most, and of course, it's successing movies as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Richard?
Favorite comedy films, probably Life of Brian, Monty Python.
Okay, perfect.
But non-comedic film, 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh, you can't see it, but the poster's just behind here. But yeah, yeah, we love it. We love it here too.
Yeah, I know I cheated there picking two, but the inspiration behind this film, I'd seen a Ginger Baker documentary, the drummer, and I thought it was hilarious, and it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I already had this comedy character, Wesley Corncrake, so I thought it would fit that to just kind of. It didn't really turn out like that, but that was just the thing to get it going. Just the idea of having different people coming on, and instead of saying, "Oh yeah, this person's great," he's a great country singer, but say how terrible he is instead. Which is kind of what the Ginger Baker documentary was really. But yes, that was the idea behind that one anyway.
Nice, thank you, Mohammed.
Well, I say maybe my favorite film is The French Dispatch from director of Wes Anderson. I think it's so cool. I love his mind blowing stuff. His scholarly style of it. So yeah, I love it so much.
Amazing. Thank you. Nicholas.
Yes, I am also a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and I have to side with Sudarshan. My favorite movie is also Inception, and it is simultaneously the movie that inspired me to become a filmmaker. So,
Very cool. Haley, you just popped up. If you can hear this, what is your favorite film? Nope. She's gone again. Okay. In that case, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is on this call. There's been quite a lot of messages coming in the chat, people supporting each other, and a few people asking questions. Jake, did you just have a question? Did you just raise your hand?
I thought it was a clap button.
Oh, so maybe it was a clap. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. So yeah, go back and check over those comments. If you want to answer to anyone, you can just write underneath the YouTube stream. Stay on the call as I wrap this up, and we'll share each other's Instagrams and stuff. And I just want to say thank you to everyone again for watching. This was quite a good number on today's live stream. All of our streams tend to get a lot more views as the days go on, so do check back onto this in a couple of days. Thank you again, and thank you to our wonderful filmmakers. Okay, I will see you very, very soon.